Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good today. So today's video is going to be my summary decks. I have a whole stack of decks next to me. We are pretty solidly into summer actually in the UK. We've already had our annual heat wave. It's currently a little bit grey and gloomy outside, hence the sweatshirt. And it may continue to be grey and gloomy for the rest of the summer, to be honest, but that has not stopped me compiling a whole bunch of decks that feel like summer to me in one way or another, and we're going to talk through them today. So this is my kind of priority decks basket. I also have two of the big Llewellyn box decks, and then I have another basket of decks that I've been neglecting and that are kind of runner-ups in a way, but I'm going to go through these first. Actually, I'm going to do the Llewellyn box decks first so I don't forget about them. So first of all, we have the Cirque du Tarot. Oh, this deck. This was an absolute failure of a June daily draw deck for me. If you've watched my last couple of videos, you'll know that my tarot practice kind of fell by the wayside for me in June, and so this was technically speaking my daily draw deck, but after about the first week of June that completely fell off. But anyway, this deck I also talked about in my cozy decks video, but it specifically gives me summer cozy vibes. Like, it's got that beautiful hazy art style. It plays a lot with light, and like as you saw in the wands are very fiery in this deck. That's the moon, that's the box art. But yeah, this just feels, the colour palette as well specifically feels like late summer to me, late summer turning to autumn. Oh, what have I done? So this actually, to be honest, is a deck I've kind of been neglecting. Just, oh, look how beautiful that Four of Swords is. I feel like I've been neglecting this deck pretty much since I bought it, and I've kind of struggled to click with it, which is why I picked it as my June daily draw. So it's really such a shame that life got too busy to tarot during June. But I really want to give this one some attention, really pull this out, figure out how to work with it. This summer, the quartz, as you can see, they're not the easiest to read, and I struggle with the quartz as it is. So that's something I definitely need to focus on. This Two of Cups is just so beautiful, and if I'm not careful, I'm gonna flip through the entire deck and just talk about how beautiful I think it is. But that is the first deck in my summer deck stack. The second big Llewellyn box deck is another one I've spoken about recently. This is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot by Maggie Stiefvater. So she, I think, did all the artwork as well as wrote the book for this deck, and Maggie Stiefvater wrote the Raven Cycle books, which I am currently rereading. I reread them every couple of summers, and I really wanted to get this deck to work with at the same time to kind of immerse myself in the world a little bit, because there are definitely some cards and some symbols that are very referential to the books. And this is my July daily pull deck, which so far is going much more successfully than June's ever did, which is great. And I'm really enjoying this. It's fairly, as you can see, it's fairly simplistic in terms of the symbolisms. There's a lot of repeated imagery. The minors are like fairly pippish in a lot of the cards, and it is kind of very, I don't want to say sparse, because it's not, like, it's quite rich in colour and there's quite a lot of texture, but in terms of like the basic symbols that you have on the card, I feel like it's fairly simple. There's definitely a better word than simple. Oh, I love the Seven of Swords. Oh, this Nine of Cups is just so beautiful. I love that. But yeah, also, again, I'm going to really struggle with the quartz on this one because I struggle with the quartz. But anyway, I think this is such a good Ace of Coins. Like here, like it's fairly simplistic. The coins are all represented by these roses. It's reasonably pippish, but I'm really liking it. I'm also really enjoying the guidebook. The guidebook doesn't reference the Raven cycle at all, so I think you could probably get this deck without having read the books and it wouldn't alter your reading experience that much. But it's very far removed imagery-wise from the Rider-Waite-Smith, so that's going to potentially be tricky. But anyway, I'm really enjoying working with this so far. I'm really enjoying being back in this. This was my pull yesterday, I think, and being kind of in this world. I love this Queen of Wands. So yes, I've not really described how these feel summary. This is just summary because I reread the Raven cycle. The few times I've read it has always been in the summer, so this feels summery to me. Also, like the black and the bright colours, especially like this orange border, I feel like maybe should feel Halloweeny, but to me, night sky and bright colours, like especially this Three of Cups, which is stunning, a night sky and a bright colour feels like summer to me. It feels like summer evenings. I cannot necessarily articulate why, but it does. Okay. So my summer deck basket. I think I'm going to start with the ones that make the least amount of sense, and then kind of try and get those out the way, and then we'll move on to ones that are a little bit more obviously summary. So these kind of come as a pair. So we've got the Voyager Tarot. They don't come as a pair. In my head, they're a pair. And the Sustain Yourself Oracle, which are both by James Wanless. And let me... Ooh. Okay, these are both photo collage decks. So the Voyager Tarot is a tarot deck, but it kind of does its own thing a little bit, although I haven't really delved into it yet. And then the Sustain Yourself Oracle. So they're both these photo collage decks, and you can see with the tarot, we've got the Two of Cups, and then we've got a keyword as well as this artwork. And then for the Oracle, this is the kind of keyword, and then this is like a secondary keyword or phrase or interpretation up the top, as well as, again, the collage imagery. Maybe we should zoom in a little bit. There we go. In what way are these summary? I hear you cry. I don't know. They just, this style of artwork, this like collagey, photo collagey, kind of very analog looking art, it just feels really summery to me, for reasons that I can't explain because I don't know why I have that association. I just do. But also there's a lot of like nature imagery, and nature exists all year round, of course, but I am outside more and paying more attention to nature in the summer. So for that reason as well, they feel fairly summery. I recently got the Oracle, and the Oracle also has a big fat guidebook. Can someone explain to me why the guidebook is so truly enormous? Because it really does not need to be. But anyway, so these kind of do their own thing a little bit. There's quite a lot of explanation of what the Voyager Tarot is and how it's revolutionary in this book that I've not really read yet. It kind of retains the tarot meanings, it kind of doesn't. And there's this like workbook element to it, which I'm kind of intrigued by. And then the Sustain Yourself Oracle less so. But there's like quite a lot of text about like understanding these cards and the way this deck has been put together. And I kind of want to do a little bit of a, I don't want to say study because I don't want to set myself up for failure, but I want to do a little bit of a deep dive and kind of really dig into using these decks individually and together. Additionally, a little while ago I spoke about my kind of struggles with Oracle cards, and since then I've bought a few more decks, and I've also been playing with the idea of using tarot as Oracle, and I think this is a good deck to do that with because it has these keywords. So I kind of want to play around and just see the ways that I can use this tarot as an Oracle deck in conjunction with Oracle decks, in conjunction with other decks that aren't these two, like all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's the bright colours, there's this very like This is fun. Let's Be Real, kind of dated looking art style that just feels very summery to me, and I'm extremely into it. But yes. I also kind of love how big and bulky these decks are. So this deck is massive. I've tried to edge it and then my pen very quickly died. But this deck is huge. And then this Oracle deck, I think this Oracle deck has got like well over 100 cards. So they're both a bit awkward to shuffle, but I kind of like that about them. They feel like physically clunky, which makes sense with this kind of clunky looking like analog collage and like the freaking papyrus font. Like there's something very dated about it, and I really quite enjoy that, honestly. Okay, next up, I think these should all make a little bit more sense. So we have the Queer Tarot. Pride Month has been and gone, but it feels summery. And also, again, we've got that like dark night sky and bright bold colours thing going on, which feels like summer to me. And I've spoken about this particular deck before in, I think it was my rainbow decks video. I forget exactly what point I was trying to make, but I was talking about the way you can see like on the backs, which these are some of my favorite backs, but this like faded like texture of the colors, and like here in this background as well, it looks sun bleached to me. It looks like they've been left out in the sun, maybe by the beach, and they've been kind of sun faded and faded by like the salt. And yeah, it just feels really, really summery to me for that reason in particular. And this is a gorgeous deck that I haven't been pulling out much because it's been buried, and also it's a little bit tricky to shuffle, but it's a fairly straightforward like Rider-Waite-Smith redraw featuring all the models for this deck are queer people, and they're all credited in the guidebook, which I think is really nice. I think that's probably one of the, I don't know about one of the best, but because I don't know that I can make that judgment, but I think it's a very good way to make an inclusive queer deck is by using real queer people as the models. I think that's a good way of going about it. So yes, and it's just so gorgeous. It's such a beautiful deck. Okay, I feel like that one's fairly self-explanatory. She is tricky to shuffle though, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, next up, this is the Feldman Sisters Tarot. I think I did a walkthrough of this when I first got it because it's really cool and I was really excited. Actually, talking about like dated imagery, I said in my walkthrough that the Feldman Sisters reminds me of like early 2000s Microsoft word art and like stuff you do in Paint. So I wonder, it's a little bit chaotic. Yeah, I'm not sure these work together, but I'm not sure they don't. I don't know. Like this, I feel like this works. Like this looks very cool. The Hermit and the Ocean. Hermit and Receptivity. And Cups and Waves. Anyway, I've distracted myself. But this is the Feldman Sisters Tarot, and this feels summery. Partly, again, it's got that like, I don't know, like I think it's something about nostalgia. This kind of like almost dated looking early 2000s like nostalgia it's giving me is mixed up in my brain with the nostalgia of being a child during the summertime. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm not mad about it, as also these like really bright colours also feel quite summery to me. I would really appreciate if my camera would focus. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this is also a fairly new deck and I've not really played with it that much. So that's also why I want to bring it out this summer, because I want to get to using it. It's very, very cool. It's very, very weird, as you can see. It is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith, and like some cards like this one look very familiar. some cards like this one. This is the Four of Wands. Do not look very familiar. And I love this tower. I think I pointed this out when I did my walkthrough. This tower with like the hourglass and like needing to flip it, and like the idea of cycles, and like everything kind of has its time and things need to be torn down, and oh, I love that. Anyway, this sun is also super cool. But yes, this for whatever reason feels very summery to me, and I'm excited to use it more. So I put it in my summer basket instead of hidden away on a shelf, so that I'll actually pull it out. We've got to have a tarot collectibles deck in the mix, or it wouldn't be a Sylvie video. You know, I love me a tarot collectibles deck, and I think my summer deck for this year is going to be the Blacklight Tarot, because again, dark colours and bright colours, these kind of gorgeous neon shades on this black backdrop. How fantastic is this Queen of Wands with the hair? Yeah, this is, again, a fairly straightforward Rider-Waite-Smith redrawn with this cool theme. This is a UV reactive. This is the only card I don't like. I don't love the Hierophant redrawn as the Guru. It feels, I don't know, it feels a little bit uncomfy. It feels a little bit on the edge of appropriation. I'm not sure if I can really make that judgment, but I don't love it. I've interrupted myself though. Yes, this is a UV reactive deck, so these are neon colours, and if you have a black light, it like actually like glows because they're UV reactive, which I think is incredibly cool. This is cute. Make love, not war. But yeah, this is such a cool deck. I think the Hermit in this deck is one of my favourites. I don't know if it'll crop up, but it's got that like cool night sky and the bright colours. I love these like stars and stuff going on in all the night skies. This is a really nice Eight of Cups actually. This is just, it's really cool. Anyway, Luck and Chance is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, gotta have a tarot collectibles in the mix. I'm allergic to actually using a Rider-Waite-Smith, so this is as close as I get, quite frankly, is using my collection of tarot collectibles decks. I think I have 6 tarot collectibles decks now, and I've also backed the spring weight on Indiegogo. I am so unbelievably excited for that deck. I have no idea, oh dear, I nudged the camera. No idea when we might actually get that, but I'm very excited for that one. Anyways, how good is this Knight of Swords though? Stunning. I think we'll leave it there. So that is my Rider-Waite-Smith adjacent pick for this summer. We are already 22 minutes in. I think this is going to be a long one. I hope you have all got a tea or a coffee as I have. This is the Art of Adventure Tarot. This cropped up a lot in my favourite cards from each suit videos that I did. I did 4 of them for each of the minor suits 1 through 10. And this feels very summery to me, partly because there's just, again, there's a lot of outdoorsiness. The wands have this kind of camping wilderness vibe. The cups are all very like beachy. And also, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see or if the camera will pick it up, but the shadows have all got this like bluey tint to them. And that feels very summery to me. There's this like bluey haze over everything, and it just feels like a kind of hot summer day haze. And I really enjoy that, and it feels extremely summery to me. Like this picture with the blue haze, I think it's brilliant. Even though the swords are set in winter, which is, I think, fairly traditional, but like this like wildernessy thing in the wands, it's like camping, which is not something I do anytime other than summer because I live in England and I don't like to be cold. I love this Queen of Swords. I think she's fantastic. In my opinion, the Queen of Swords should always look like a bit of a bitch, but in a good way. I love a woman who can actually just kill me. So yeah, I love the sunset and this death. I love the perspective of this death card, actually. It's not what you usually see, like instead of death marching left to right, you're kind of above him, behind him. Is he turning towards you? Is he turning away? I don't know, I like it. Anyways, this is therefore in my summer deck basket. I've also been kind of neglecting this one, despite pulling out so much for my favorite cards videos. I haven't really used this in what feels like a really long time. So like this just, again, it's like that nostalgia of like summer holidays. Although my summer holidays never looked like this, but it's like this is a little family on a summer holiday and the kids are being a little bit obnoxious and the parents are doing their best to ignore them. Yeah. Okay. I fear I'm in a very rambly mood today and I'm not making points very succinctly. I will say, although I love the blue edging of this, it comes off on your fingers, which is not ideal. So this is, I've mentioned this recently in my recent, like, I think I did a haul video or like an update and new decks. There we go. This is the Tarot del Fuego. This is a cute little Fournier deck. This has delicious cardstock as well. And this feels like summery because it's got a lot of fire in it and that just feels summery to me. It's got a lot of bright colours and there's something about the like chaos of the imagery in this deck. I don't know why that feels like summer, but it just does. Maybe there's something about, again, that like nostalgia of summer holidays and this big stretch of unscheduled time feels a little bit chaotic maybe, and this kind of works with that. I don't know, I'm completely pulling that out of the air. I'm completely making things up, but yeah, this is summery. It's got quite a lot of nature in it. Again, it's got a lot of fire, it's got these bold vivid colors. It's whatever has been used to do the artwork. It looks like maybe like marker pens or watercolor paint. It's again got that kind of uneven texture, which for some reason feels quite summery to me. And I think it's great. I think my camera is also not focusing. And speaking of chaos, I've also got my other new Fournier deck in the mix in the summer basket. So we've got the Tarot El Dios de los Tres. And I've been using this a fair bit recently, actually. This has become my new kind of travel deck when I might be reading for other people, because this deck, ooh, she loves to gossip. She loves to talk about other people. She loves to talk to other people. She's throwing herself around. 8 of Pentacles there. It's also, again, it's a little bit chaotic. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different imagery involved. And I just think it's really gorgeous. Again, bright colors. I really like in this deck how the suits have different colored borders. So the wands here, we've got this like green and blue border. The majors they don't have these corners. Swords, we've got this pink and yellow. Pentacles, we've got this yellow and blue. And cups, we've got this pink and purple. I think it's really gorgeous. And yeah, it's been such a spot on reader. It's been like, you know, some decks you're like, oh no, this deck is seriously like reaching into my psyche and pulling stuff out. It's fantastic. And I like doing readings for other people, so I think that's going to be my kind of go-to read for others deck this summer, maybe along with the Blacklight Tarot, because the RWS is always pretty easy to read with. Oh, I hadn't noticed this before, but we've got like a tadpole and then whatever the stages between a tadpole and a frog are on the Six of Cups. I really like that. That's really so my camera battery essentially told me to stop talking. Not my camera battery, my storage card essentially told me to stop talking because it was full. But we are done with my so-called priority basket of summer decks. So this basket is my like summer deck runner-ups, or just also decks that I've been neglecting. So I'm going to go through those quickly as well. And this will be the longest video you've ever had from me. So this was a summer deck runner-up. So this is my Mary L Tarot. which I do kind of feel like I've been neglecting because I've just not pulled it out in ages. But again, the colours in this deck feel like summer to me because this deck, colour-wise, I associate with the kind of gorgeous turquoises and this like vermilion, bright orangey red colour, but specifically like we've got like the blue and the red. Got an upside down Knight of Wands. Like this, just colour-wise, it feels like summer. I also feel like I'm neglecting it because I haven't really pulled it out in ages, and I really love it. And doing some like the idea of doing some deep diving with the Voyager Tarot and the Sustain Yourself Oracle, I'm also thinking about like digging into this a little bit. Like this turquoise and this red, that is the colour scheme of this deck for me. Turquoise and red, beautiful. Like it's just, ugh. It's just stunning. It's just so summery. I think I also got this deck in the summer, in the year that I bought it. So that's kind of this turquoise in particular. Yeah, that summer association is kind of burned into my brain. So that's the Marielle. And then the other deck that I have in a scarf, this is a new scarf that I bought at a little vintage shop in Bristol the other weekend when I was there for Pride. How stunning is it? How perfect for tarot. It's shiny. Anyway, I just have my Terra Volatile in here because this is not a particularly summery deck, but it is one of my favourite decks. So I wanted to have it for kind of easy access, but not in my main basket because I want to try and prioritise other things. But I definitely will be pulling this out all the time because it's one of my favourites. I love it an awful lot. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm also really excited to receive the guidebook, which I have pre-ordered. That won't be till September, so maybe I'll pull this out for a bit more like dedicated use in the autumn, and also add in the Vessels suit because that will be in the guidebook. But anyway, we've seen this 1,000 times before on my channel. I've also got the Lubanko Tarot in my summer runner-ups basket. So again, it might be the dark colours, but the colour palette is decidedly a little bit cooler, a little bit more wintry feeling with this deck. But I think it's just the general like intensity that this deck has feels a little bit more summery to me. And again, I just feel like it's such a good deck. And I feel like I've been neglecting it a little bit. To be honest, I think I feel like I've been neglecting all of my decks. She's a beautiful Queen of Pentacles. Just because I've not really been reading recently. My practice has fallen by the wayside a bit. But then like the wands are very fiery. It's just a very intense deck. And then some of the cards are so pretty. Like you take the colour palette of this King of Wands here, which is like black, white, red. It's so intense. And then this Knight of Pentacles has this gorgeous, like much softer scene with the turquoise and this like peachy orangey color and this greeny yellow, and like it's just gorgeous. And then we're back to like intensity. So yeah, this is again kind of a runner-up because I want to dig it out and use it more. Love this, lovers. So yes, another nighttime vibes tarot is the Midnight Magic. I think I've spoken about this before. I think I have in the works a kind of semi-review, not exactly review, more like a kind of second impressions about this deck, but I'm not sure whether or not anyone would care to see it. But anyways, this is summary because it's got that, it's all set at nighttime, it's got the dark nighttime scenes, and then it's got these beautiful colours. I think this actually is going to translate well to all different seasons because mushrooms feel more like autumny to me because that's where I see them out and about in the world, more so anyway. But it's got these beautiful vibrant colours. A lot of the cards have a kind of glow about them with the way the art's been done, which feels very summery. And then it's got this like hazy art style, which I think perfectly suits the nighttime theme, but also is very like soft and cozy. Did I mention this in my cozy decks video? I'm not sure, maybe. But anyway, I think it's beautiful. I think it's good for summer. I also just really enjoy this deck. Like, oh, this is just beautiful. I really enjoy this deck for the fact that it's not looking at me. There's no people here. There is an upside down Four of Cups. But it's quite like not a blank canvas to come to, because the tarot always has a lot to say, but I don't feel as though it's reflecting my feelings back at me the way that some decks are. I can just kind of come to this deck for a little bit more space. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I'm going to stop talking about the Midnight Magic. Okay, we're getting there, I promise. I have 3 more decks. So this is, ooh, this is half a deck. I've kind of shoved this in here. So this is the Oracle that came with, you can see the kind of logo almost here, the Crystal World Tarot, or the Tarot of the Crystal World, which I backed on Kickstarter and came in a few months ago because one of its stretch goals was a little Oracle deck. I think there's 20 cards, and the tarot deck has a box. The Oracle doesn't, so I kind of kept it in this bag, and because it's so small, I slid it into my tarot basket. And yeah, I think I'd like to pull this out. I definitely haven't really looked at this since I received it. This obviously wasn't what I backed the Kickstarter for. It was kind of like an added bonus, so I'd quite like to play with it a bit and see what kind of use I can get from it and see what it can do for me. I really love the art style. And yeah. So this is sort of a deck I've been neglecting in a way. We're nearly done, so I'll just speed through them all. And Access to the Cosmic, there is the last card. Okay, 2 actual decks left. The Mystic Martian Oracle. It's going to be a very Oracle summer, I think. I really want to kind of try and make oracles work for me. I picked this up not too long ago when it was reasonably cheap on Amazon. These backs are completely stunning. I love the green edges, and the art style is really cool. So this is not a big oracle deck. How many cards are you? It doesn't say. I think there's something like 36 or 40 cards, and they've got this kind of like sci-fi aliens theme. I think the art style is really cool. It looks like it's maybe like coloured pencils, like hand drawn and coloured. And then we've just got like our alien-y keyword or title, and then some keywords below, which is the kind of oracle deck I feel most comfortable using at the moment because I'm not super used to using them. Have I touched this yet? Not really, not very much, which is why it's in my runner-up basket. I just think this is really fun. There's also a lot of like bright colours. I think this would go... Did I mention this when I did my Feldman Sisters walkthrough? I think they both have a kind of chaotic, fun art style. I think they might potentially work well together. It might be a bit overwhelming. We'll see, but I'd like to play with that as well. So yeah. Yeah, we've got elements. We've got like, I guess like races of aliens. And then there's this, like the golden ratio is a nature thing. Shadow self. Starseed, don't love that. But we've got some like this corrupt, unethical cult. It's not all positive, which I think I like, or was something that appeals anyway about this deck in particular, is that there's like positive cards, there's more negative cards. I love this purely for the butterflies, which should surprise nobody. So yeah, I just want to kind of dig into it because I really haven't been. So that's that with its stunning box. Okay, and then finally the last deck in my decks I've been neglecting runner-up summer deck baskets. Might be a bit of a surprise. This is the Cosmic Slumber Tarot, which I actually spoke about in my unhaul decks I'm decluttering, decks I'm putting into purgatory, kind of whatever that was video. And I was committed to decluttering this. I've had no real intention to use it since I first decided to get rid of it. But then I saw it on, I think it was Candy Soul and Soil's Summer Decks video. She spoke about this and she showed it, and I was like, you know what, it is a beautiful deck for summer. And I kind of want to give it another go and see if maybe, now that, I think it was about a year ago that I thought, I don't think this deck works, for me at least. Now that it's been some time, maybe we can give it another go and maybe we'll figure out how to work together. I've given it a good shuffle since I picked it up. And like, some cards work really well, and I think this Emperor, we've got a kind of symbolism, but we've also got, like, he's shielding this little lamb, which I think is a side of the Emperor that is not usually visible on the card, which I enjoy. But then some cards don't make any sense to me, and some of the choices don't make a lot of sense to me. Like, a lot of the figures are pretty androgynous looking for the most part, and yet we've renamed the court cards to Prince and Princess, or Princess and Prince. I'm not sure who comes first, but that just seems odd to kind of do so much degendering of the imagery and then rename and keep the, I mean, it's one thing to keep the Queen and the King because that's the traditional, at least the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith titles, but yeah, I don't know, and that choice is just not really explained, which I just find odd and I don't quite understand. But anyway, I like this as well. It's almost like the sun behind the cloud is like an extra pentacle, which doesn't make sense with the card, but I think it looks very cool. And it's like maybe illuminating the choices in front of you. Yeah, and I struggle with the imagery of the court cards. I think it's hard to distinguish one court card from another. Oh dear, have I been out of focus? I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's hard to distinguish visually which court card is which. I think they all look quite similar within each suit. I do like this sun though. I feel like this evokes a lot of the traditional sun imagery without a naked baby on a horse, which I don't mind. I don't hate the naked baby on a horse, but I also don't love the naked baby on a horse. So it's nice to see something a bit different. That isn't just a big sun in the middle of the card, because I think that's a little bit uncreative. And I like this 6 with the second figure is like off screen almost. So yeah, I don't know, I'm going to give this another go. I'm going to see how I get on with it, because I know a lot of people really love this deck. I think the art style is absolutely beautiful. I think the colours are gorgeous. So it's Tilly Walden who designed this. And yeah, it's just, I think you can tell that the artist is not familiar with tarot, and that makes it, the choices just don't make a lot of sense to me and often aren't explained, where it's really deviated from the traditional imagery, which I just think is a shame. I like this Princess of Cups. So I'm assuming the princess is the page and the prince is the knight. Like, this justice is fabulous. Anyway, the backs are good too. So that is my final deck. That is going to be it from me for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed watching. Let me know what you think of my summary decks. Let me know what your summary decks are for this year. Let me know if you also associate nighttime with summer for some reason, because I certainly seem to. But anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for spending some time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.